Egypt condemns Israel's recent airstrike on Syrian territory, calls it an effort to expand control over occupied areas. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli says Egypt is intensifying efforts to reinstate Gaza ceasefire and resume negotiations. And Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli reassures the public about Egypt's economic recovery, citing positive indicators. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Qnews, bringing you the latest updates from Egypt. Egypt has strongly condemned Israel's recent incursion into Syrian territory and the airstrike on the town of Koya, calling it a continuation of Israeli efforts to expand control over occupied areas. In an official statement, Cairo has rejected any attempts by Israel to exploit Syria's internal developments and warned of the serious risks posed by such violations. Egypt further called on the UN Security Council and major international powers to intervene and stressed the need to preserve Syria's unity, stability, and sovereignty. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has said that Egypt is intensifying efforts to reinstate the Gaza ceasefire and resume negotiations. Speaking at the weekly cabinet press conference, Madbouli noted that Egypt is working with international partners to revive the Arab League's reconstruction plan for Gaza and prevent further escalation. The Prime Minister reaffirmed Egypt's continued diplomatic push to end hostilities and rebuild the war-torn territory. Egypt has called on the UN Habitat Program to coordinate its Gaza reconstruction efforts with the Arab League's early recovery plan. Speaking on behalf of the G77 and China at the program's Executive Council in Nairobi, Egypt condemns calls to establish an agency aimed at relocating Palestinians, describing such proposals as forced displacement in violation of international law. Cairo emphasized the urgency of finalizing a comprehensive UN report on rebuilding Gaza and called for greater support for other crisis-affected countries, including Sudan and Somalia. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdel Ati and Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani have held a phone call to review joint efforts to stabilize the ceasefire in Gaza and implement the three-phase agreement reached on January 19. The discussion also focused on the entry of humanitarian aid and preparations for the Cairo Reconstruction Conference. Both sides agreed to maintain close coordination to de-escalate regional tensions and pursue a political solution leading to the establishment of a Palestinian state. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdel Ati has held talks with Palestinian Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Mohammed Mustafa to discuss the humanitarian and security crisis in Gaza and the West Bank. The two sides reviewed Egyptian-Qatari efforts to broker a ceasefire and enable humanitarian access. Prime Minister Mustafa expressed appreciation for Egypt's leadership in reconstruction efforts and affirmed support for the upcoming Cairo conference on early recovery and rebuilding Gaza. Visitors can journey back over 3,000 years into ancient Egypt as Tutankhamun, the immersive exhibition, opens in London this Friday. The high-tech experience includes one of Europe's largest video-mapped rooms, a 360-degree VR journey through the Valley of the Kings, and a digital recreation of Howard Carter's discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb in 2022. Guests enter through an infinity room with a walking Anubis, then explore Egypt's rich history through holograms, artifacts, and curated replicas. Co-created with Egyptologists, the exhibition runs until June 29 and features original items from private collections. A key construction milestone has been completed at Egypt's Al Daba'a nuclear power plant, as the final weld of the recreator pressure vessel for Unit 1 has been completed at the Izhora facility in St. Petersburg, operated by Rostam's Mechanical Engineering Division. Rostam confirmed that manufacturing is progressing on all major components for the 4 recreator units. The VVER 1200 recreator vessel for Unit 1 is expected to be shipped to the construction site in 2025. The El Daba'a plant is Egypt's first nuclear power project and is being built in cooperation with Russia's state-owned Nuclear Energy Corporation. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has reassured the public about Egypt's economic outlook, saying all key indicators point to a clear recovery. Speaking at a weekly cabinet press conference, Madbouli confirmed inflation is now under control and the economy is on the right track despite ongoing regional challenges. He noted that all economic sectors have recorded positive growth except for the Suez Canal and petroleum extraction sectors, which saw temporary slowdowns. The Prime Minister also revealed that Egypt's external debt has returned to safe levels as a share of GDP, crediting last year's economic reforms. The government aims to achieve growth rates of 6% or higher in the coming period. Planning Minister Rania Al-Mashat has stated that Egypt is emerging as a key platform for private and foreign investment, citing strong growth in industrial production. During a press conference at the Cabinet's headquarters, Minister Al-Mashat said in Q2 of fiscal year 2024 to 2025, the non-oil manufacturing sector grew by 17.7% for the third consecutive quarter. Semi-manufactured exports rose by 22.7%, while fully manufactured exports such as pharmaceuticals, ready-made garments, and cosmetics also saw significant gains. Overall goods exports jumped by 18% year-on-year. Communications Minister Amr Talat and Deputy Finance Minister Ahmed Kojuk have attended the second annual Freelancers Forum in Cairo, aimed at supporting Egypt's growing digital workforce. Held under the slogan "Freelancing 9 to 5 is no longer the only option," the forum connected policymakers with local and international freelancers. The Finance Ministry unveiled a new set of tax incentives for small businesses, including simplified filings and exemptions for startups earning up to 20 million Egyptian pounds annually. Citrus fruits led Egypt's fruit exports last week, with 65,000 tons shipped abroad, according to the Agricultural Quarantine Authority. A total of 34 fruit varieties were exported, amounting to nearly 86,000 tons. Agriculture Minister Alaa Farouk stated that Egypt has around 517,000 acres of citrus plantations, with annual citrus exports exceeding 2.3 million tons, placing Egypt's first globally in citrus exports. The Egyptian Golf Federation has announced it will host the 24th edition of the Arab Golf Championship for juniors and women from May 7 to 10. The tournament will take place across 2 major venues in Cairo, Medinati Golf Club and Qattamaya Dunes Golf Club, under the patronage of the Arab Golf Federation. The event features 5 age categories for boys and girls, in addition to a women's division. It includes participants from 17 Arab countries, including Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Morocco, and others. The championship aims to promote golf in the Arab world by raising competition standards and expanding opportunities for emerging players regionally and internationally. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin. Here's what we've been covering. Egypt condemns Israel's recent airstrike on Syrian territory, calls it an effort to expand control over occupied areas. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli says Egypt is intensifying efforts to reinstate Gaza ceasefire and resume negotiations. And Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli reassures the public about Egypt's economic recovery, citing positive indicators. That's all for now. Remember to stay updated by following Qnews for the latest developments, and thank you so much for watching.